Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 9th of April 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affairs. So guys, watch this video till last and I'm requesting you all the students that you have to like this video, you have to share as maximum as possible because we need your support, and guys, you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. But before proceeding, I just want to discuss about Affairs Cloud subscription that you can download our application name is Careers Cloud, and you can download from the description box link. We put a downloading link of this application in the description box. You can download with very simple method. After downloading, this first window will appear and you can log in on our application with your email ID. After login, this second window will appear, and by clicking on this crack current affair section, you can get 1 year subscription as well as 2 year subscription, and both the prices are very much low. Even 2 year subscription is also provided at very minimal cost. So guys, subscribe today. And what we are providing under this subscription, we are providing daily current affairs. In the daily current affair section, we are providing three type of the current affairs. One is related to the theoretical current affair of particular day. It means detailed current affair will be provided in the PDF format of particular day. Next is the question and answer format of the current affair will also provided in the PDF format, and last is the quiz section for particular day. It means you can attempt this quiz on our application and you can test that how much current affair you can retain for a particular day. Next is the weekly section, and under the weekly section we are also providing the same three sections. Like for particular week, we are providing the detailed current affairs. We are also providing the question and answer current affairs. It means all the detailed current affair will be converted in the question and answer so that you can revise current affair very easily on weekly basis. And last section is the quiz section in the weekly section. It means you can attempt this quiz on our application. Next is the monthly section, and it is the most important section because we are providing so many PDFs under this section. Like one is the study PDF. It means all the detailed current affair will be provided under this PDF for particular month. To revise these current affair, we are also providing the question and answer PDF so that you can revise again and again before your exam. Next is the top. It means best 100 current affairs will be provided to you. That is also provided in the question and answer format so that it will be beneficial for your exam. Next is the pocket PDF. As the name suggests, it is very useful before your exam to revise the current affair very quickly. So all these current affair will help to enhance your preparation, but we are also providing smart PDFs. So these smart PDFs are like topic wise PDF. It means if you want to revise for particular section, then you can revise from this topic wise PDF like apps and web portals, important days, books and author. If your one section is weak, then you can revise again and again of particular section. So this content will also enhance your preparation, and these are known as the smart PDFs. If you are banking aspirant, then we are providing two type of the sections. One is related to banking and economy PDF. It means all the banking and economy related news will be provided under this PDF, and it is also provided in detail format as well as in the question and answer format. We are also taking the quiz on our application. You can also attempt this quiz on our application. Next is the exam PDF. We are compiling the current affairs of every month like January, February, and also we compiled now the March. So it means all the current affairs will be provided under this one PDF. So this is known as the exam PDF and useful for every type of exam. We are also providing the special current affairs like budget and economic survey. So it means two type of the PDFs you will get under this section. One is the detailed budget and economic survey. It means the important facts related to the budget and economic survey, and also you will get the expected question which can ask by the examiner in your exam related to budget and economic survey. This is also provided under the special current affair. And guys, now you are preparing for the central exam. If you want to give a state exam, then we are also providing the state current affairs. We are covering every state and every union territory. So guys, this subscription also comes with the state current affairs, and your state preparation can also be enhanced. So all these things comes under one subscription. Like these PDFs and also the daily, weekly and monthly comes under one subscription. So you have to download our application Careers Cloud. Description link is given, and guys, you can log in with your Gmail ID, and guys, you can also subscribe for 2 years as well. Both the subscription prices are very much low. If you see the price, you will definitely surprise, and on that minimal price we are providing 10% extra discount. If you use this code ASH10, then you will get 10% extra discount. You can also subscribe for 2020, but you have to visit our website, that is affairscloud.com/current affairs. We are also providing the last 6 month current affair of 2020 for recent exam. So guys, you can subscribe it for from our website, and you can use ASH10 code for particular this 2020 subscription. So let's start today's current affair, that is 9th of April 2021. But I am requesting you again, all the students, that you have to like this video because we have a target of 700 plus, and you have to share as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe our channel because we need your strong support. And guys, let's start today's session with the most important question, and here is our first question. What is the name of the French maritime exercise in which India participated recently and held in Indian Ocean? So the most important thing under this question, it is a French maritime exercise. It means this exercise is led by France and this happened in Indian Ocean. So these two things are very, very important, and it is not only attended by India, it is attended by 4 countries if we are excluding France from this. Like 4 countries, India is there, United States of America is there, Australia is there, and Japan is also there. It means this exercise took place in Indian Ocean. And how many countries total participated? 4 plus 1 is the France. It means 5 countries participated, but this exercise is led by France, and this exercise name is La Perouse. So guys, remember the name of the exercise. B answer is right. So mark this question in the most important section, and it is the first time ever that Indian Navy assets are participating in the French defense exercise. And from Indian side, 2 ships participated. One is the INS Satpura, and second ship is INS Kiltan. But this is not so much important. You have to just read this, that INS Satpura and INS Kiltan from Indian side participated. And Royal Australian Navy, Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, United States Navy, French Navy and Indian Navy participated under this exercise. This is the second edition which happened in Indian Ocean, but first edition was happened in 2019, and that was also the La Perouse exercise of first edition. And the participant of first edition exercise are the Quad countries. Which 4 countries are known as the Quad countries? Quad means quadrilateral countries, that are India, USA, Australia and the Japan. Remember this. And friends, you can also remember the other options, because other 3 options are the bilateral exercise between the India and the France, only between the India and France, not the other countries. Like Varno is there. Varno is a naval exercise between the India and France. Next is the Desert Night 21. It is a air exercise between India and France. There is one more air exercise that is known as Garuda. This is also the air exercise between India and France. Next is the Shakti. Shakti is a army exercise between India and France. So guys, remember all the exercises related to France, but 3 are only bilateral exercise. It means it is only between India and France, but La Perouse is between India and other 4 countries, which are France, United States of America, Australia and Japan. So guys, remember in first edition, India was not part of this La Perouse exercise. This is the second edition, and it is a part of this exercise. And guys, remember about France. France president is Emmanuel Macron, and capital is Paris. Currency is euro. Remember this. And guys, you can also remember France started 5-day long first military exercise of France in space. This is most important question, and we already covered in the March month, and this exercise is known as Aster-X. Remember the name of the exercise, Aster-X, to analyze its ability against attacks on its satellites and other defense equipments. Now you can see in the picture, India and other Quad nations join exercise of France in 3-day naval exercise that is known as La Perouse, and in the Indian Ocean. So guys, remember all things like INS Satpura, INS Kiltan participated under this. United States, Japan, Australia, all things I covered. And guys, remember 5-day long exercise and the first military exercise in space. This is the important keyword that named as the Aster-X. So just keyword you have to remember, Aster-X and the France. So now we can move to the next question. Next question is, who is appointed as the chairman of Capacity Building Commission? So the most important thing here is this Capacity Building Commission. What is this? So friends, you have to remember that this commission was established by Government of India under the National Program for Civil Services Capacity Building, and a mission was launched under this Civil Services Capacity Building Program. The mission is Mission Karm Yogi, and it was launched by Narendra Modi ji. Remember, the Mission Karm Yogi to impose major reforms in the bureaucracy. The order regarding the appointment was issued by the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and the Pension, because all the appointments are done by the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and the Pension Department. So guys, remember who become the chairman of Capacity Building Commission, and I am giving you hint that he is currently the chairperson of QCI. QCI stands for Quality Council of India. He is currently the chairperson of this Quality Council of India, and this person is Adil Zainul Bhai. Remember the name. This is the most important question because it is a one commission, capacity building commission, and it is just to enhance the capacity building for the civil services. So a council is selected, like union ministers are there, chief ministers are there, human resource practitioners are there, and even these all things are headed by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and will serve as the apex body to provide strategic direction. And this commission will also coordinate with all the government offices, training institutes for evolving an approach to improve the capacity and build shared resources. This will also support the preparation of annual capacity building plans for departments, ministries and other organizations, and submit the plans for the approval of the Prime Minister's Public Human Resource Council, so that maximum to maximum capacity can be generated and maximum to maximum training can be provided. So this will also prepare the annual HR report on the health of the civil services and audit the human resource available in the government and assesses the efforts of the capacity building. So guys, just remember this capacity building commission, and it is under the mission Karm Yogi by Narendra Modi ji to enhance the capacity building of the civil services. And guys, remember who become the first chairman of this commission is the Adil Zainul Bhai. And guys, other appointments are again very important. The first appointment here we discussed yesterday, Siva S. Raman. He was recently appointed as the chairman and MD of SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India. Next appointment is the Matam Venkata Rao. He was recently appointed as the MD and CEO of which bank? MD and CEO of the Central Bank of India. Central Bank of India. Next is Jaideep Bhatnagar. He was recently appointed as the Principal Director General of Press Information Bureau. This is again very important. So I am repeating again all the options, like Siva S. Raman, recently appointed as the MD and CEO of the SIDBI, or you can say the Chairman and MD of the SIDBI. We discussed this question yesterday. And Matam Venkata Rao was recently appointed as the MD and CEO of which bank? Central Bank of India. Adil Zainul Bhai appointed as the Chairman of Capacity Building Commission. He is also the Chairperson of the Quality Council of India. Jaideep Bhatnagar is recently appointed as the Principal Director General of Press Information Bureau. So these all appointments are very important. So guys, you can see the picture of the Quality Council of India Chief Adil Zainul Bhai, who is appointed recently as the Chairman of the Capacity Building Commission. Now we can move to the next question. Which zone of the railway became the first fully electrified railway zone? So the most important thing under this question, that this zone became the fully electrified Indian railway zone, and this is the first railway zone who become the fully electrified. And how many zones, railway zones are in India? Total 18 railway zones are in India. Some books are referring 17 railway zone. But guys, remember recently South Coast Railway was added in the list. And where is the headquarter of this Southern Coast Railway? Headquarter is in Visakhapatnam. Remember, this is the 18th railway zone, and total railway zones are 18 now. So guys, I am just giving you some of the railway zones, and you can remember, like Northern Railway Zone is Delhi, Southern Railway Zone is in Chennai, because Chennai is in south, and in north there is Delhi, and on the west side there is a Church Gate. So it means the Western Railway Zone in Church Gate in Mumbai, and Eastern Railway Zone is in Calcutta. So remember this. And I am just revising you another 4, like these you can also remember. Northeastern Railway Zone, that is in Gorakhpur. Gorakhpur is in UP. Northwestern Railway Zone, that is in Jaipur. Jaipur is in Rajasthan. South Western Railway Zone is in Hubli. Hubli is in Karnataka, and Southeastern Railway Zone, that is same in the Eastern Railway Zone, that is in Calcutta. So remember these 8 railway zone which I revised you. So you have to remember this. And guys, now which railway zone became the first fully electrified railway zone? That railway zone is West Central Railway Zone. West Central Railway Zone headquarter is in Jabalpur. Jabalpur is in which state? Jabalpur is in Madhya Pradesh. And where is East Central Railway? East Central Railway is in Hajipur. Hajipur is in Bihar. Northern Railway is in Delhi. Southern Railway is in Chennai. So guys, remember all these railway zones. I am not covering all the 18, but I will make one small video for the railway zones. You can just remember. So Eastern Central Railway is not the answer. Northern Railway is not the answer. Southern Railway is not the answer. Is Western Central Railway, and it become the fully electrified Indian Railway. Just remember the news as in this slide. Now we can move to the next question. Vivo Communication Technology has appointed which Indian cricketer as its brand ambassador? And he was recently appointed as the brand ambassador of Digit Insurance. Digit Insurance, a general insurance company. And guys, he was also the brand ambassador of so many companies. Like he was brand ambassador of MRF Tires. He is currently the brand ambassador of the Great Learning app. and he's also the brand ambassador of Wix India, Uber India, Boost Energy Drink, Royal Challenge. So many brands are there, and he's the Indian captain of cricket team. And answer is Virat Kohli. So remember guys, Virat Kohli is appointed now the brand ambassador of Vivo Communication. Just remember the question in the slide, but you have to remember other questions also. Like first name here is the Sourav Ganguly. Sourav Ganguly recently appointed as the brand ambassador of Bengal Peerless. Remember Bengal Peerless. Bengal Peerless is a real estate company. So he become the brand ambassador. Next is Samriti Mandana. It is very, very important question because Samriti Mandana recently appointed as the brand ambassador of Equitas Small Finance Bank. Equitas Small Finance Bank along with Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Bhuvneshwar Kumar elected from the men's cricket team and Smriti Mandana elected from the women cricket team, and both become the brand ambassador of Equitas Small Finance Bank. Yuvraj Singh recently become the brand ambassador of the Akash Educational Services Limited. Remember Akash Educational Services Limited, and yesterday we covered a question that Akash Educational Services Limited purchased by Byju's. 100% stakes purchased by the Byju worth the $1 billion. So guys, remember all these things. Now we can move to the next question, but you can see the picture of the Virat Kohli, and we were ropes in the Virat Kohli as the brand ambassador. Now we can move to the next section, and it is a very important question section guys. You have to provide us 700 plus likes. This is a target. You have to subscribe this channel and you have to share as maximum as possible. So guys, let's start with the first question of the very important section. And recently, which country hosted first meeting of BRICS finance ministers and central bank governors? It means from Indian side, finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman represented, and from the central bank governors, it was Shaktikant Das who represented the first meeting of BRICS from Indian side. And if you know that 2021 chairmanship of BRICS lies with which country, then you can give the answer. And guys, 2020 chairmanship lies with the Russia, so it cannot be answer. So answer of this question is only India. So remember this, answer is India. And it is the 13th meeting of the BRICS. Remember, India is hosting 13th leaders BRICS meeting. And guys, in 2021, this 13th meeting theme will be inaugurated with the BRICS at the rate of 15, because it is the 50th anniversary of the BRICS foundation. Because in 2006, foreign minister of the 4 countries basically met and they decided to form a group that is known as BRIC. BRIC stands for Brazil, Russia, India and China, but in 2009 this group was formed, and in 2010 one more country joined, that is South Africa. And in first times in 2011 South Africa attended the first meeting of the BRICS group. So guys, this is very important about the BRICS, you have to remember. And India is currently hosting the 2021 chairmanship. And from Indian side, the finance minister basically Nirmala Sitharaman ji attended, and if we are talking about the bank governor, then it is Shaktikant Das who attended this meeting. So you can see here Nirmala Sitharaman and Governor of Reserve Bank of India Shri Shaktikant Das ji chaired this meeting, and it is the first meeting of the BRICS finance minister and the central bank governors under the chairmanship in 2021, because there are so many meetings in the agenda of BRICS. One is the finance minister and governor, second is the foreign ministers meeting, cultural minister meeting. There are so many meetings. So guys, it is the first meeting of 2021. What is the theme? BRICS at the rate 2015, intra-BRICS cooperation for continuity, consolidation and consensus. And remember, India is hosting the 13th BRICS summit of 2021, and BRICS finance minister and the central bank governor discussed the financial cooperation agenda for 2021. It means they are discussing about the new developmental bank activities, cooperations on the customs related issues, IMF reforms, financial technology for SMEs and financial inclusion, and also providing the funds to the needy countries. So this is the main agenda of 2021 of BRICS. So most important thing under this question, who is the chairman, leader or president of 2021 summit? So remember, it is India. Now we can move to next question. Nirmala Sitharaman, again the name comes, virtually participated in the second G20 finance ministers and the central bank governors meeting held under the which country presidency? So there was BRICS meeting of 2021. It is also the same finance minister and the central bank governors meeting. Now G20 meeting is also the same, but the host country is different. So guys, all the options are very important. You have to remember that Singapore is hosting World Economic Forum 2021. This is the first time that any Asian country is basically hosting this World Economic Forum due to COVID-19. United Kingdom is basically hosting a meeting of COP26. It means I am talking about United Nation Climate Conference, United Nation Climate Change Conference of of 2021. It is basically hosted by the Glasgow, Scotland, or Scotland is a part of United Kingdom. And Italy is basically a president of 2021 G20, and Saudi Arabia was the president of G20 2020. So answer of this question is very simple now. If we are talking about 2021, if we are talking about G20, then answer of this question should be C. So very clear, answer is C. Italy is hosting this G20 summit, and which country presidentship? It is Italy. And Italy is also the co-partner of the COP26. You can also remember this. And guys, from Indian side, again, Nirmala Sitharaman, and from the central bank governors, it is Shaktikant Das who attended this meeting. And you can also see here G20 finance ministers, and it is for the G20 action plan in response to the COVID-19. And guys, remember, Nirmala Sitharaman supported the extension of the debt service suspension initiative by the 6 months till December 2021. So guys, remember, this is the debt service suspension initiative. The examiner can ask that this debt service suspension initiative is started by which group? So it is started by G20, because in April 2020, World Bank and the International Monetary Fund asked G20 countries to form a DSSI, or you can say the Debt Service Suspension Initiative. This initiative is just to help the countries concentrate their resources on fighting the pandemic and safeguarding the lives and livelihoods of the millions of the most valuable people. So guys, remember, this is a group which is formed by the G20. And G20 is made of 19 countries and the European Union. So guys, remember, in the G20, 20 countries are not member, only 19 countries are member. One is the organization. The organization name is the European Union, and this G20 was formed in 1999. And the 2021 presidentship lies with the Italy. It means, who is the chairman? Chairman is the Prime Minister of Italy, and name is Mario Draghi. And guys, always remember that in G20, India and China both are the members. Now we can move to the next question. Which small finance bank tied up with the Axis Security, which is also a subsidiary of the Axis Bank, to offer services through 3-in-1 account? So the main keyword is 3-in-1 account, and this is with the help of small finance bank, and one is the Axis Securities. Through 3-in-1 means one is the saving account, next is the demat account, next is the trading option. So these three things will be provided under one account, and the saving account facility is basically provided by this small finance bank, and demat and the trading facilities will be provided by this Axis Securities. So that's why this account is known as the 3-in-1 account, and this account will be provided by the Jan Small Finance Bank, or the Jana Small Finance Bank. So remember, this is a very important question if you are banking aspirants. So this question is only for the banking aspirant. Jana Small Finance Bank is the answer. So Jana Small Finance Bank ties up with the Axis Securities to offer services through 3-in-1 account, and I already covered that what is the meaning of this 3-in-1. So guys, you can see here, it is to offer banking and investment services to its customers through 3-in-1 account, and saving account facilities will be provided by Jana Small Finance Bank, and demat and trading facilities will be provided by Axis Securities. And so always remember, Axis Securities is a fully owned subsidiary of the Axis Bank. And guys, recently Jana Small Finance Bank became the sponsor of the Bank of Ashok Nagar Cooperative Bank Limited. This is again very important question if you are a banking aspirant, that first small finance bank who become the sponsor of any cooperative bank, that is Jana Small Finance Bank. And this Jana Small Finance Bank becomes the first small finance bank to go live under the bank sponsorship program. So remember these things, because these things are very important. And guys, you can also remember about Jana Small Finance Bank, that it was established in 2008. Year was not so much important. Headquarters is in Bengaluru, Karnataka, and MD and CEO is Ajay Kanwal. Remember Ajay Kanwal. MD and CEO is important, and it is only for the banking aspirant, not for the other students. Now we can move to the next question. Axis Securities is not important for you. Which company will invest $9 billion, that is a huge amount, that is almost 67,000 crore, in wind and solar projects through 2025, so that Indian government can achieve this India's green push initiative? It means maximum to maximum initiative can be started which are climate friendly. So this company is providing help to India, and this company is investing so much amount in India, but they are investing only in the solar and the wind powers. So guys, you have to remember, there is a 175 gigawatt of target by year 2022. We have to generate this amount of energy only from the new and renewable energy, and out of 170 gigawatt, 100 gigawatt should be only from the solar, 60 gigawatt only from the wind, so this is a huge, and 10 gigawatt only from the biosources, and 5 gigawatt is only from the small hydro projects. So guys, you have to remember that major portion, like out of 175, 160 gigawatt should be from the solar and the wind. And we have to also achieve 450 gigawatt by the year of 2030 under the Sustainable Development Program. So there is a need of help from the companies which are the large companies and have ability to provide the wind and solar projects, and this company is, guys, Renew Power. Remember, its headquarters is in Gurugram, Haryana. So this company is investing so much amount in the green climate, and it is a very beneficial for India. So it is to reduce the emission and create climate friendly environment. Target is just to provide more than triple its renewable power capacity to 18.5 gigawatt by the 2025, and that is a huge capacity which can be generated by the Renew Power. And India, the world third biggest emitter of the greenhouse gases after the USA and the China, aims to reduce its dependency on the coal and expand renewable power capacity also fivefold to 450 gigawatt by the year of 2030. So 18.5 gigawatt is a huge target which can be achieved by the Renew Power by the year of 2025. They currently have 5.4 gigawatt 5.4 gigawatt of operational wind and solar plants, and ongoing are 4.5 gigawatt of projects which are under development. So almost 10 gigawatt is currently under processing, but they have to achieve 18.5 gigawatt by the year of 2025, and it is a very general target of the Renew Power. And remember, the headquarter is in Gurgaon, Haryana. Now we can move to the next question. Which state and UT launched two mobile applications? One is the Hamari Sadak and next is the Tamir Tarakki. And friends, both the applications are basically related to PWD department, that is Public Work Department. And guys, remember, from the history point of view, this department was created by Lord Dalhousie in 1851. It is just to repair the roads and to build the roads. PWD, Public Work Department. Now both the applications are basically related to the Public Work Department, and this is launched by one and only UT, that is Jammu and Kashmir. So answer of this question is J&K. It means it is launched by Lieutenant Governor or the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, and he is currently the Manoj Sinha. Remember, Manoj Sinha. Very important. So guys, you can also see here Lieutenant Governor of the of Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha, launched Hamari Sadak and the Tamir Tarakki. So this Hamari Sadak allows the residents to register and track their grievances regarding the Public Work Department, and Tamir Tarakki is basically ensures the effective supervision of the developmental projects through data updated by the field staff. It means all the data will be updated by the field staff and all real-time supervision can be take place. And Hamari Sadak is basically a grievance redressal platform. It means all the grievances can be tracked through this mobile application of the Public Work Department. So the portal will enable complete online management and monitoring of infrastructure with the various functionalities like geo-tracking and the dynamic update. So this will enable the complete automation of human resource activities through online employee details beside updating employee information. So guys, remember, these both applications are very important for the Public Work Department. And recently, Jammu and Kashmir Financial Commissioner Atal Dullo distributed tablets among auxiliary nursing midwives, or you can say the ANM nurses, and launched the application Anmol. This is the keyword you have to remember, that this Anmol application is launched by the Jammu and Kashmir government, and Anmol stands for Auxiliary Nursing Midwives Online. OL stands for online, and this application will provide all the facilities which are covered under the National Health Mission, and this is a door-to-door campaigning which will be covered by the auxiliary nursing midwives, and they will check that all the schemes and the benefits will be provided to every people which comes under the National Health Mission. So this is the initiative of the Jammu and Kashmir. And recently Jammu and Kashmir also launched this Ayushman Bharat scheme for all the citizens of the Jammu and Kashmir. You can also remember this. Jammu and Kashmir is very important for you. There is very important national park, that is Dachigam National Park. There is a very famous river from the Jammu Kashmir passing, that is Indus. Indus tributaries are Jhelum, Shyok, Chenab, and there are more rivers in Jammu and Kashmir, that is Kishan Ganga. Tavi river is also there in the Jammu and Kashmir. There is a stadium, very famous stadium, that is Sher-e-Kashmir Stadium. You can also remember this, Sher-e-Kashmir Stadium. Dachigam National Park is there. Now we can move to next question. which Union Territory Administration and Solar Energy Corporation of India Limited signed a MOU for setting up 50 megawatt solar power project. Again, we are focusing on the solar power because there is a target of 100 gigawatt we have to achieve by the year of 2022 till the year of 2022 from the solar power only. So this Union Territories, Ladakh Union Territory Administration and Solar Energy Corporation of India tied up to setting up of this 50 megawatt solar power project, and this 50 megawatt solar power project will be set up in Taru area of the Leh district. Remember, TAROO or TARU. You can write any type of thing. TARU. Taru. Taru area of the Leh district. You have to remember this. It is a step towards making Ladakh carbon neutral, and the power consumption is expected to go up to 200 megawatt by the year of the 2025. It means in the next 5 years, the power consumption of Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh citizens will be expected to increase by the 200 megawatt. So there is a need of these type of the solar projects so that Ladakh become the power surplus union territory. So remember this. And they are also making a plan to establish 10,000 megawatt of the solar project in Ladakh area, so that Ladakh become the Atmanirbhar in the power sector. So you can also see in the picture, Solar Energy Corporation of India Limited signs agreement to establish 50 megawatt of solar project in the Taru area of the Leh district. If you belongs to Leh or Ladakh, then you have to remember this area that where this 50 megawatt solar project will be established. So it is a step towards making Ladakh carbon neutral, and they are also planning to set up a 10,000 megawatt project in Ladakh. So total peak power demand of Ladakh is 50 megawatt, and it can be covered under this plan. And recently, Ladakh Union Administration and ONGC, Oil and Natural Gas Energy Center, signed a MOU to establish India's first ever geothermal field development project in Puga village of eastern Ladakh. So you have to remember, because it is the India's first ever geothermal field development project, and it will be established in Ladakh area. So the most important organization here is the Solar Energy Corporation of India Limited, and its headquarters is also in New Delhi. And guys, remember who is the Lieutenant General of Ladakh? Lieutenant General is Radhakrishan Mathur. Now we can move to the next question. What is the name of the portal which was launched by Union Education Minister for digital consultation? So guys, it is a Union Education Minister. It means I am talking about Ramesh Pokhriyal ji. And what is the name of the constituency of Ramesh Pokhriyal? Name of the constituency is Haridwar in Uttarakhand. And who is the new Chief Minister of Uttarakhand? Tirath Rawat. So all the things you have to remember. And name of this portal which was launched by the Union Minister of Education for digital consultation, and it is My National Education Policy of 2020. My National Education Policy, or the new education policy of 2020. So you can see here this My New Education Policy of 2020 web portal of the National Council for Teacher Education will be operational from 1st April to 15 May. It means after 15 May it will be closed. And why it is opened between this time period? Because it is just to prepare a draft of two policies. One is related to the a national professional standard for teachers and National Mission for Monitoring Program membership, and both the programs are only for the teacher skill development. So they just want to prepare a draft. So they are just asking for the suggestions to the stakeholders, so that maximum to maximum efficiency of the teachers can be increased. So this is the main initiative of this portal. But other options are also very important, but all the other options related to the state applications or the state portals. So first here you can see as the PR Insight. It is launched by which state government? It is launched by Punjab government. Why it is launched by the Punjab government? It is just to align the power execution of existing schemes, so that each person can avail the benefits. Next is Abhyam. Abhyam is basically launched by Andhra Pradesh government. Remember, Andhra Pradesh is known for very well schemes. So Andhra Pradesh started this Abhyam application. It is for the safety of the women travelers through auto and the taxi. Next is the Udyam Sarthi. Udyam Sarthi is basically launched by which state government? It is launched by Uttar Pradesh. Why this application is launched by Uttar Pradesh government is just to avail the information related to self-employment and job vacancies in the industries of the state. So guys, remember all three applications, and all the applications are related to particular state. But this My New Education Policy 2020 is related for the teaching, education, skills. Now we can move to the next question. And here all the very important questions covered. Now we can move to the important question, but you have to provide a 700 plus likes, and you have to share as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. So guys, here is the first question in the important section. Who launched Madhu Kranti portal? It means I am talking about Madhu Kranti means honey revolution and honey corners of Nafed in New Delhi. So the most important keyword here is the Madhu Kranti portal. So this is important keyword you have to remember. That's why we are covering this question in the important section. But the organization is also important. The organization is known as the Nafed. Nafed stands for National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation. You have to just remember that this Madhu Kranti portal is an initiative of the National Bee Board under the National Beekeeping and the Honey Mission. And this National Bee Board has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Indian Bank for this project. So guys, remember which bank signed a MOU with the National Bee Board for this Madhu Kranti portal? This is the Indian Bank. And who launched this Madhu Kranti portal and honey corners of the Nafed in New Delhi? This is Narendra Singh Tomar, that is Union Minister of Agriculture and the Family Welfare. So guys, you can also see here Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar launched Madhu Kranti portal and honey corners of the Nafed in New Delhi. It means they just want to enhance the performance of the Madhu Kranti sector, and or you can say the beekeeping center. It means this portal has the functionalities to create a database of all stakeholders involved in the honey and other hive product production, sales and marketing chain. This will also support checking the quality and source of the adulteration of honey. In the first phase, the one-line registration of the beekeepers was launched, but in the second phase, through a mobile application, all the sales transaction in the honey trading will be captured to achieve traceability. And it will also combine all the manufacturers of the honey and also the purchasers of the honey, so that maximum to maximum income of the honey beekeepers can be enhanced. So you can also see here the Madhu Kranti portal is an initiative of the National Bee Board and under the National Beekeeping and the Honey Mission. This mission was very, very important because it is just to enhance the performance of the honey sector, or you can say the you can say for the overall promotion and development of the scientific beekeeping. So Indian Bank is the technical and the banking partner of this digital platform that is also known as the Madhu Kranti portal, and to facilitate online registration to achieve a traceability source of the honey and the other beehive products over a digital platform. The portal has the functionalities to create a database of all the stakeholders which are involved in the honey sector and other hive product production, sales and marketing chain, and their income can be enhanced by this honey mission. And this honey mission will help to increase the income of the farmer. Definitely employment generation can be there, and increase in exports and achieve the goals of the sweet revolution. This is a new kind of revolution and it is specially related for the honeybee. So guys, remember all the information. This question is not so much important, but you have to remember this. And who is the Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare? That is Narendra Singh Tomar ji. And what is the name of the constituency? Name of constituency is Morena, Madhya Pradesh. Remember. And Minister of State is Purushottam Rupala. He is currently the member of Rajya Sabha from the Gujarat constituency. Next is the Arjun Munda. Arjun Munda is the Union Minister of Tribal Affairs, and his constituency is in Jharkhand, and exact place is Khunti. Khunti is in Jharkhand, remember. And Piyush Goyal is currently the member of Rajya Sabha. His constituency is Maharashtra. So remember these all the constituency you can revise for your exam. Now next question is, what is the name of the Tribal Health Collaborative which was launched by the Dr. Harshvardhan, Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, along with the Arjun Munda, who is currently the Union Minister of Tribal Affairs. And this portal or this Tribal Health Collaborative is known as the Anamya. So guys, remember this Anamya is important because it is an initiative of the family and the health ministry and also the tribal ministry. You can also see here Arjun Munda ji and Dr. Harshvardhan ji, and this is a tribal health collaborative. It means it is just to improve the tribal health. You can also see here main objective to coverage efforts of the various government agencies and organizations to enhance the health and nutrition status of the tribal communities of India. Even this initiative is also supported by the Melinda and the Bill Gates Foundation. So guys, as a part of this initiative, Tribal Ministry will set up the National Council on Tribal Health. A special council, a special body will be created for the tribal health, that is known as the National Council on Tribal Health, to drive policy initiatives in the tribal health. So you can also remember that it is just to establish a health cell to monitor healthcare delivery in the tribal areas. So guys, in March 2021, Dr. Harshvardhan launched the Tribal TB initiative as a step towards the goal of TB Mukt Bharat by the year of 2025, and many such cases are seen in the tribal areas, that TB is more in the tribal area. So that's why to eliminate this TB, there was a initiative, that Tribal TB initiative. And Union Minister of Tribal Affairs Arjun Mundaji also inaugurated first of its kind e-portal Swasthya, a tribal health and nutrition portal. So guys, remember all this information because it is related to the tribal affairs, and it is specially related for the health and the nutritious value which should be provided to the tribal people. So guys, remember this, and it can improve the health gap of the tribal community. And because there are seen that tribal face several problems when assessing public health system, like lack of health facilities in the indigenous communities, cultural differences with the healthcare providers, such as the differences in the languages, human resource shortages, difficult terrain, and the infrequent transport, among others. So these are the basic problems which are faced by the tribal people. So that's why there is an initiative so that we can attach with the tribal affairs, and it is with the health and nutritious status. Now we can move to the next section. It is the one-liner important point. Here is the first point. Ministry of Ayush signs MOU with the Department of Animal Husbandry to introduce Ayurveda into the veterinary science. So this is a new kind of thing that Ayush Ministry is launching this Ayurveda, especially with the tie-up of the Department of Animal Husbandry in the veterinary science. So it is seen in the COVID-19 that to increase the immunity, you need the Ayurveda. And this Ayush Ministry comes under which minister? It comes under the Shripad Yesso Naik. So remember, Shripad Yesso Naik is currently the Union Minister of this Ministry of Ayush. And Shripad Yesso Naik constituency is North Goa. And this Ministry of Ayush basically established by Narendra Modi ji in 2014, and he is the first minister of this Ministry of Ayush. You can also remember that. And Ministry of Fishes, Animal Husbandry and Dairy lies with the Union Minister Giriraj Singh, and his constituency is in Bihar. And this ministry was formed in 2019, and he was also the first minister of this Ministry of Fishery, Animal Husbandry and the Dairy, because this Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy comes under this ministry. And this is just to explore the potential medicinal plants, spices for enhancing its cultivation, preservation and conservation, because scientific research will be conducted in collaboration with the veterinary colleges and Indian Council for Agriculture Research Institutes on the utility of medicinal plants. So guys, remember, this is a Ministry of Ayush. Next, 92% of the target achieved in the first phase of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, Ministry of Rural Development. So guys, remember just the figure, that is 92% targets are achieved by this scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. You have to remember this scheme was started by Narendra Modi ji in 2016. The main aim is to provide housing for all by the year of 2022. So the cost is 60:40. It means 60% will be funded by the central government and 40% by the state government. But if you belongs to the northeastern state or the Himalayan state, then funding will be 90:10. It means 90 will be provided by the central government, 10% will be provided by the state government. And a target of 1 crore houses set up the completion of the first phase of the scheme from 2016-17 to 2018-19. So 1 crore houses target was set up by the Ministry of Rural Development. And who is the Union Minister of Rural Development? Narendra Singh Tomar. Lok Sabha constituency is Morena, Madhya Pradesh. So remember this information, this is important. And most important thing here is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which was started in 2016, and the target is housing for all by the year of 2022. Next, RBI has extended priority sector lending by banks to non-banking financial companies up to September 2021. Just remember the date, that the priority sector lending by the banks to the non-banking financial companies extended almost by the 6 months, that is till the 30th of September. Next, Ohuomodu Mahamudu appointed as a new Prime Minister of Niger. So name is difficult, you can just read this name, and even my pronunciation also is wrong, but you can remember the name of the country. Niger is important for you, you can remember. Every country is important for you if it is related to the capital and currency. Capital of Niger is Niamey. and currency is Western African franc. Capital is important. Next, veteran journalist and educationalist Padma Shri Fatima Zakira passed away at the age of 85. So the main thing that this personality Fatima Zakira belonged to which profession? She belongs to journalist professional, or you can say a very famous educationalist, and she also won the Padma Shri in the year of 2006. Next is International Roma Day 2021, celebrated on the 8th of April. So this day is not so much important, but you can remember that this International Romani Day or the International Roma Day is annually observed across the globe on 8th of April to celebrate the cultural and heritage of the Romani and to raise awareness of the issue facing by the Roma people. So it is the 50th anniversary in 2021 because first Romani Congress day was celebrated in 1971 in England. So that's why it is very important. Now we can move to the next question. But guys, you can skip so many information under this question. Like you have to just remember this International Roma Day, 8th of April. Next here is the name is important, Fatima Zakira. And next is country is important, Niger, because this name is unique. You can remember for long time period. Next, RBI extended priority sector lending for whom? It is for the non-banking financial company, and it is just for the 6 months, 30th of September. Next, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana is important. Next, Ministry of Ayush is important. Now, we can move to the question of the day, and question of the 8th of April 2021 was, who introduced the doctrine of lapse to expand British territories in India? It means if you have adopted son in 1848, then you can't basically transfer your property to the son, or after your death your son can't acquire your property. This is the doctrine of lapse, and it is introduced by one of the very famous Governor General of India, and this Governor General is Lord Dalhousie. The time period of Lord Dalhousie is 1848 to 1856, and first state which was captured by the doctrine of lapse is Satara. This is very important question, and Satara is in Maharashtra. Remember, first state which was captured through doctrine of lapse is Satara. And Lord Dalhousie also started the first railway in India, also started the first post office system in India, and also started the PW department, that is Public Work Department. We already covered this question. So guys, now we are moving to the question of the day. What is the question of the day? Hriday scheme launched by the Urban Development Ministry aims at. If you know the abbreviation, then you can give answer very easily. So guys, you have to answer only in the comment box. I am waiting your answer, and please provide 700 plus likes. It is our target, and it is only target that you can support us. And please subscribe this channel, and please press the like button and press this bell button so that you can receive the notification on time. And it is Affairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section if you are reading our current affairs from the PDFs. And you can subscribe our PDFs from our application. You can download the application from the description box link, and we are providing 1 year subscription as well as 2 year subscription, and both the prices are very much low. You can get the 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. And guys, don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy. Happiness is the key of success. Thank you guys for watching this video, and take care. Bye bye.